Hello, 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 hello. It's me. I'm back again. What's up? Oh, it is A'Tondra Vinchealle, keeper of the Mermaid's Wisdom, founder of the mermaidswisdom.com. I am a wellness strategist. I am a feminine wellness educator, and I help women open and create space to reclaim our time, our bodies, and our feminine essence. So if this is your first time hanging out with me, just hop in and say hi. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from. I always love to meet new people. I'm always excited to meet new people who join me on this platform. And if you have interacted with me before, say, hey, Rachel, how are you? Thank you for joining me tonight. I know, right? Kim Trees, hey, sister. I'm up. Everybody's up. Well, not everybody's up. My king is up. My oldest son is still up. I don't know. It's just a late night for us tonight. We just up. We're just up. And I just wanted to play around for a little bit, and just come in and talk. Just come in and hang out, you know. It's kind of late, so I can't invite a whole bunch of people to the house. So I figure I just jump on Facebook and hang out with you all and just kind of talk to you a little bit about, you know. So, I don't know. I just want to talk about like what my children poured into me. Oh, you just, you know, I have never watched Power. I've never watched Power. I've never watched an episode of Power. I know, right? So yeah, I just want to talk about my day and talk about my week. And I don't know. I have my tarot cards out, and that's literally just for fun. These are just out for fun. So I am just lighting some sage because I like sage. So I recently found out from an indigenous woman recently, like this week, that she said, good, don't watch it, that sage is actually endangered. White sage is actually endangered, and I was not aware of that. So I have some white sage, you know, I still have some, so I'm just going to use the rest of what I have. And then once I'm done with what I have, I'll probably just start making some rosemary smudge sticks because I know how to make those on my own. So yeah, but that's what I'm doing. I'm playing around with some sage. Look at this. Okay, so I have regular white sage, okay? And then I have this sage. It's kind of burnt because I've been using it, but this is actually sage that's been dipped in dragon's blood. So this is, I use this one, you know, for certain occasions, like during certain times, because this particular sage, the energy associated with this sage is a lot more potent because, again, it's been dipped in the dragon's blood. So I have this. What else do I have? I have some cinnamon. Okay, I enjoy cinnamon. I love cinnamon, and cinnamon just brings up so many fun things for me, so many deep things for me. And what else do I have here? I have some Palo Santo. I have a little small piece. I have another piece here, but this is the piece that I have with me right now. I found out that this is actually endangered as well. I was like, man, like that's crazy. You can't do the cinnamon, Kim Trees? You don't like it, or are you allergic? Maybe one of those things. I love cinnamon, but I use cinnamon when I need to call up some stuff. When I need to dig deep and call up some stuff. So that's what I use it for. So anyway, I found out that Palo Santo is, oh, do you? Yeah, so I found out that that's endangered as well. And that made me kind of sad. So like I said, I'll use up what it is that I have, and then I will just make some rosemary smudge sticks and play around with that. So okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what my children have been pouring into me. Like it's such a beautiful thing. Like having children is such a beautiful thing, right? Because a lot of times we feel like, I know, a lot of times we feel like, you know, we're pouring into them, and we do, you know, we pour into them. We make a huge investment into them, you know, of time and energy and wisdom and, you know, all kinds of different things. But what I find happens a lot with my children is my children pour into me a lot. And it's a beautiful thing because you see yourself as this one person. And sometimes we have a tendency to really only see what's wrong with us, right? Like we have a tendency to see our faults. Okay, hold on really quickly. So before I get into the stories about my babies, so I do have my tarot cards out, and these are just for fun. So here's what I will say. Okay, so I am using the fairy deck. Okay, super duper duper cute. This is what it looks like on the back. This is what, you know, I'll show you some of the cards. Isn't that pretty? And this is a really soft, you know, it's a really soft energy with these cards. Kind of cute, kind of playful. I'll show you this one. Okay. And so the way this particular deck works is this deck works with like spring, summer, winter, fall, as opposed to the 4 suits that you find in the regular tarot deck. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea. So anyway, here's how this works. So I'm going to talk about my children, and while I'm talking about my children, you can ask a question. So this is how I work with tarot. So I am an intuitive reader, and what you'll notice is on the card it has a little saying. I will read that, you know, if you want me to read that. But typically what I do is I pull the card and I just sort of intuitively feel what the card is telling me with regard to your question, okay? And so what I ask is that you ask a specific question, and so no good, bad, right or wrong, yes, no types of questions, because the answer from the universe is always yes. Right? The answer from the universe is always yes. So asking a question like, should I, hey there, Nicole, asking a question like, should I go to medical school, right? Like that would not, because that's asking for a yes or no answer. Again, the answer is always yes. Should I go to medical school? Yes. Should I not go to medical school? Yes. Why? Because regardless of whether or not you make the left turn or the right turn, you're going to end up where it is that you're supposed to be ending up anyway, right? So try to ask a specific question, and what I do is I give you a general reading based on the energy associated with your question and the energy associated with where you are with regard to your question. So this is not going to be a psychic reading in that way, if I should say that, right? Like not in that particular way. So no lottery numbers, you know, should I leave my boyfriend? Yes or no? Like, you know, a lot of times you already know the answers to those kinds of questions. So anyway, it's just out here for fun. If you have a question, put it up. If you don't have a question, it's totally fine. I'll just sit here and play with the cards. Like, it's all good. No worries, right? So anyway, like I said, so my children pour so much into me, right? Because a lot of times you have this tendency to look at yourself, and as we're going through our processes, as we're going through our growth, going through different stages of our development, sometimes we have a tendency to look at ourselves through the eyes of everything that we think is wrong or everything that we think is not working, especially if you're a parent, right? Like parents, we make mistakes. Sometimes a lot of times we're not perfect. Most of the time we're not perfect. And so we feel like, oh my God, like I'm such this horrible parent, and I didn't do this right, and I missed this thing, and I didn't do that. And so it's always good to hear from your children, because they tell the truth. At least my children do. Like my children will straight up tell me the truth. And it's always lovely to see what they see in you, right? Because you see yourself. Okay, sister. So Kim Tree says, can you just pull a card for me and say what comes up? Okay, I sure can. Okay. Pull a card for me and just see what comes up. Pulling a card for my sister, Kim Treese. And we're just gonna see what comes up. All right. I think I want to cut in 3 is what I feel. Okay. So this is your card. The 8 of Winter. So this has to do with words, and what I'm receiving is conversations. I'm receiving conversations. And so there are some conversations that need to be had with certain people who may not necessarily serve you in the direction and where you are going. They may not necessarily serve you in the direction that you are going. And if you look at her, she's on this iceberg by herself. Right? She's got this, there's this air about her, right? Like, I am going in a certain direction, and it's nothing personal, but you can't come. And the reason why you can't come is because you're not ready to be where I'm going. And what it's going to feel like for them, right? What it feels like for them is, so she thinks she's better than me. So you think you're too good for me. So you've changed. So you're doing all these new things. So you know, you forgot that I know what you were, and you forgot that, you know, I know when you used to do this, and now all of a sudden you're doing these new things, and you think that you're so much better, and you're in this white dress, and you've got your hat, and you've got this elevated status. And the interesting thing about this young lady in this card is that if you look at her, okay, if you look at her, if you could see her face, she knows, right? It's like she knows. And it's kind of one of those situations, like, if that's what I need to be to you, right? For this to be okay for you. Like, if I need to be that, she thinks she all that, she thinks she's better than me. Like, if that's what helps you sleep at night, then that's okay. I'll be that. That's okay. I'll be that. Because the reality is you can't come with me where I'm going. Because it's not for you. You're not ready for that. It's not personal. You just can't come. And so this is not something that's gonna be done in like a passive aggressive kind of way. Like, it's not one of those situations with some of the people. It's not one of those situations where it's going to be like, okay, well, if I just start moving in this different direction, people will just start falling off. There are certain people that are going to literally have to be talked to. They're literally going to have to be talked to so that they understand, like, you know, I'm sorry, but this is where you get off. So, hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful. And one last thing. Again, if you look at her, okay, again, look at her face. One last thing, look at her face, okay? She knows, like, there's no confidence issue here. Okay? There's no confidence issue here. Right? There's no question about whether or not I can do this thing that I'm moving into, right? Like, she She just knows. And it's not something that she has to verbalize. Like you can just see it on her. Like she's not speaking, her lips aren't open, her lips aren't moving. Like she just knows. Like I just am that thing. And I can do that thing. And that's what it is. Like I don't have to say anything, right? And that also gives you the confidence to have those conversations that need to be had. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. So again, like I said, if you have any general questions, no good, bad, right, or wrong, no yes or no questions. The answer from the universe is always yes. I'm not giving away lottery numbers. Don't ask me if you should leave your husband. Don't ask me if you should try to go sleep with somebody else's husband. I actually had somebody ask me that one time. Honey, if that's not your husband, that's not your husband. Anyway, that's funny. Okay, so if you for real. Y'all don't know. You all don't know what I have seen. Do you understand me? Let me tell you all something, okay? I used to be married to a preacher. Okay, my first marriage, I was married to a preacher. Okay, I was married to the minister of music, right? The minister of music. Okay, so we had a good position. We had a good seat in the church. Oh, I'm glad, sister. I had a good seat in the church and everything, and it was so interesting, the things that I would hear people say and the way that I would hear people justify what they did, and you had some people, who were having affairs, and it was just like the way that they would justify that. And it's like, no. It's not okay. Okay, Sister Nicole said, I'd love for you to pull a card for me, please. Thank you. Sure, ma'am. All right, let me see. Hold on. Because I always clear. Hold on. Okay. So I always clear my cards in between each reading. Just in case, so if you see me do that, you know what it is that I'm doing, right? Pulling a card for Sister Nicole. Pulling the card for Sister Nicole. Pulling a card for Sister Okay. Set cut 5. Okay. Okay. The Prince of Summer. The Prince of Summer. Oh. You see how he's sort of riding this dandelion? Okay. What happens with the dandelion? Okay. A lot of people don't understand how important and how potent the dandelion is. They don't understand the medicine that is in the dandelion. They don't understand the medicine that's in The dandelion. The dandelion is often misunderstood. Often misunderstood. Because when people see the dandelion, they see a problem. They see a weed. Right? But if they understood the medicine of the dandelion, they would understand how potent the medicine is. They can understand that the dandelion, when prepared properly, is a cleanser. And when prepared properly, helps people to release those things within them that do not serve them. Does this make sense? Okay. Here's the thing about the dandelion, though, okay? Let me tell you something about the dandelion, because you understand evolution, right? And what happens in evolution is that, things evolve to survive, right? But watch this. No matter how misunderstood the dandelion is, the dandelion keeps coming back as a dandelion because the dandelion understands its own medicine. And so Nicole, what I need you to understand is that even if you are misunderstood, right? Even if you are misunderstood, okay? Even if you are misunderstood, you must continue to keep coming back. You must continue to keep coming back. You must continue to keep coming back, even if you are misunderstood. Because if they will receive what it is that you have, what you have will assist in the cleansing and the removing of the things that do not serve people. But you have to keep coming back as the dandelion. And the beautiful thing, one of the beautiful things about the dandelion is that it doesn't take much to spread the seed, right? You pick up a dandelion, you pick those, just real lightly. And it spreads everywhere, right? It spreads everywhere. And it only takes a little bit. Only takes a little bit of energy. Just and so that's what's there for you. Right? That's what's there for you. That's what's there for you. So, yeah. I hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful. All right, so again, anybody else hopping on? I'm just going to talk about my children and all of the beautiful things that I've learned from them. Okay. Sister Rachel, she says, let me see, I'd be scared to touch this thing because, she says, may I ask for a card as well? Okay, so you just want to, okay. So, general card, right? Just a card and just see what comes up. Okay, no worries. No worries. Shuffle 6. Okay, shuffle 6. Don't cut? Okay. You see her? She's the dreamer. The dreamer. Sister Rachel. So everything that you have, everything that you need, you already have. Everything that you need, you already have. Everything that you need, you already have. And the support that you are looking for in moving forward, you already have. Right? You already have. You just can't see it. But like air, like the wind, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. Just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. If you look at her, if you look at her, she's fabulous. She's fabulous. And she has packed her bags. And her head is up. And there's this attitude that no matter what you say, or no matter what you think, or no matter what you believe, it doesn't matter, because the thing that I have inside of me, I believe in that thing. And guess what? I don't need you if you don't want to come. It's cool. Like I don't need you if you don't believe in it. It's okay. I don't need you if you don't really want to support me in doing it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Now, why am I telling you that the support that you need is already there? The support that you need is already there. And just because you can't see it like air, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. If you look right here, is that there? Look at this puppy. Okay. So the puppy is on her right side. Okay. So the puppy is on her right side. So this is going to represent a masculine energy that walks with you. A masculine energy that walks with you. And the masculine energy is this puppy. And this masculine energy has a good sense of direction. And you can see the puppy is pointing. This is the first time I've actually even looked at that in this card. I promise to God. The puppy is pointing. Puppy is pointing. Puppy is pointing. And look at her. She's fabulous. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her lashes. Look at her. She has decided, like, look, honey, you don't have to, you ain't gotta rock with me. It's cool. I am fine. in all kinds of ways. Watch me as I walk away. Watch me as I keep going, because I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to prove, and I don't have any attachments, and everything that I need is already with me, and the support that I need is already with me. The support that I need is already with me. So the support that I need is already with me. And you have to believe so strongly in what it is that you carry. Okay? You have to believe so strongly in what it is that you carry. That you're willing to move. But see, here's the thing, okay? She's moving. She's going somewhere. She is moving. You cannot, ma'am, you cannot sit on your dream. Sorry, you can't do that anymore. You are an autonomous being, so you can do whatever you desire to do, but it won't serve you at the highest capacity to continue to sit on that, ma'am. He said, let's go this way. He said, let's go this way. Now look at the other thing, okay? One of the reasons why you can see her lashes is because her eyes are closed. What does this mean? This means that she might not know all of the steps that she's going to take, but what she's doing is she's, by faith, putting one foot in front of the other, and she's just going. One foot in front of the other, and she's just going. She's just going. And her eyes are closed. And she doesn't know what it's going to look like. She don't know how long it's going to take her to get there. But everything that she needs is already within her. And the support that she desires is already with her. So, that is for you, ma'am. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful. All right, so again, if you're just hopping on, ask a question. Again, I don't read yes, no, right, or wrong. The answer from the universe is always yes. I'm not going to give you lottery numbers. Right? No, yes, no, good, bad, left, right. Right? The answer to from the universe is always yes, because whether you go left, right, up, down, whether you say yes or no, you're going to end up where you're supposed to end up anyway, right? So just to give you some context in how to, oh, you're welcome, to answer your questions. She said, asking your question, she said, no, pick 3. No, ma'am. No pick 3, no ma'am. No pick 3s. I'm not doing the blackjack table. I'm not gonna tell you if you're gonna hit 7 after 7. I'm not gonna tell you if you should go to the Isle of Capri casino. That look, let me tell you something. If you wanna go to the casino, go do it. Do it. Do your thing. Do your casino thing. Go to the casino. Okay. So while I'm waiting on questions, okay, talking about my baby girl. Okay, so again, as parents, you know, we look at ourselves a lot of times through the eyes of what we see wrong. And it's such a blessing that our children are able to be honest with us, because then we get to see who we are through their eyes, and we get to see what they see when they tell us. So the other day I was talking to my baby girl. You know, we were just sitting down talking, just mommy, daughter talking. And she asked me to do something for her. I think she had like a pain or something in her foot or something. And, you know, I touched it, rubbed it, and it went away. And she was like, you know what, mommy? You're a magical mommy. I was like, what? I'm a magical mommy. She said, yeah. She was like, you never get sick. She's like, even if everybody in the house is sick, like you don't ever get sick. And if you do ever kind of like don't feel well, like you do these things and you can make it all go away. And we have this joke. Okay, so I'm gonna tell this joke. Don't judge me, okay? But don't judge me, okay? I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not crazy. Let me just go ahead and say this because I don't want anybody putting me on investigation discovery or anything like that. But there's this thing that happens with my children, right? That when somebody is, if somebody were to ever bother them or to cause them a problem, if somebody ever causes them like a major problem, and I step in and I deal with it, all of a sudden, that person, whether it's a teacher or a child or just some random person, that person, for whatever reason or another, all of a sudden is just not there. They're just not there. And so one of my sons asked me one day, oh, he made a joke. It was one of those things where it was like a joke, but it wasn't really a joke. Like he was trying to make a joke, but you could tell that it was like, not really a joke. Because we were talking about a particular situation where they had an issue with a particular student at this old school that they were going to. Old school they used to go to. And, I came in and, I had to handle the situation. And then all of a sudden we look, and this was like about 30 days, 45 days later, and we're looking around and I said, where is so-and-so? They said, you know what, Mama? I don't think so-and-so goes to the school anymore. I was like, that's interesting. So one of my sons asked me, we were all talking and he was like, yeah, I think Mama be putting spells on people to make them go away. It's like, no, son, I don't. And please don't go out into the world and tell people that I put spells on people to make them go away. I'm going to tell y'all something that was interesting too, right? And that was crazy. That's why I say this. I don't want y'all to think I'm crazy. I say this, but I tell people, man, don't raw dog me. Don't do me wrong. I don't know what it is. Okay. My ex-husband, whenever he would cheat on me, he would get arrested. I promise. Look, let me tell you something. When I tell you my right hand to God, every single time, that's how I knew. Because I would get the phone call. Didn't you have a collect call from? And I'm like, this dude done did it again. Because he always had warrants. He always had warrants for speeding tickets and stuff like that. And every single time he went out and he did that, he went to jail. I had, another serious relationship that I was in, and he did me really, really dirty. And then one day he was at work and he had been smoking weed and had fallen. And they drug tested him, right? Because of workman's comp or whatever, and he had a hard time getting a job after that. I don't know. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Look, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so she was like, you're a magical mommy. Like you never get sick. And, when we get sick, like you always go in the kitchen and you like mix up something and it always makes it go away. And, you always know what to do and you always know what to say. And and I was like, she's magic. She thinks I'm magical. So here we are on one end, thinking that we have all of these problems, thinking that we have all of these issues, thinking that, we're not doing things as well as we would desire to do them. And then you have other people who are looking at you and they see something else in you that you don't see in yourself. This is the reason why, one of the lessons that I teach my children, and I'm just talking right now. So if y'all have questions, you want me to pull a card, just tell me to pull a card. I will. I'm just going to talk for right now because everybody's still up, but we just in here doing a thing. One of the things that I teach my children all the time is that there are two things that have a huge, huge influence on the direction of your life. What are those two things? The decisions that you make and the people that you decide to surround yourself with. Why? Because a lot of times the decisions that we make are informed upon by the relationships with the people who we engage with the most. Right? And I teach my children all the time, if you can learn to make good, sound, intelligent, integrity-based decisions and you can learn how to surround yourself with the right people, you can do anything. You can do anything. You can take a man who cannot read or write. You take a man who cannot read or write. And if he knows how to make good, intelligent, integrity-based decisions, and to surround himself with the right people, he can surround himself by people who can teach him how to read and write. He can surround himself with people who can put him in a business that would make him enough money to pay somebody to read and write for him. And it's so important to pay attention to the people that we surround ourselves with. It's so important because the words that people speak to you, you must understand. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. Yes, we are all responsible for our own actions. You are absolutely right. Oh, thank you, Akima. Okay. Okay. Akima says pick one for me. All right. So let me finish this, and then I'm going to pick one for Akima. The words that people say to you carry an energy and a frequency. And it's important to understand that even from a physiological level, we are energy and we are frequency. We are energy and we are frequency. And words put together in the form of sentences become spells. You probably have heard this before. Spells, spelling test, spelling bee, spelling. Sit with that for a while. I'm going to pull a card for Sister Akima. Sister Akima. Sister Akima. Sister Akima. Sister Akima, I hear money. I don't know what that's about. Not yet. I don't know what that's about yet. What is it about? What are you saying? Money. Okay. Money. Can you be specific, please? Can you be specific, please? Strength. Do you see her? Do you see her? Okay. Sister Akima. I don't know what you do to make money, or what you're planning, what your plan is. Okay. But I need to show you something in this card. I need to show you something in this card. I need to show you something in this card. I need to show you something in this card. Okay. You see? You see her. You see her. Okay. And there's a lion here. And there's a sheep here. Okay. These are two different animals with two different backgrounds, two different personalities, two different ways of being, two different ways of relating to the world around them. They live in two different environments under two different sets of circumstances. However, as you can see, she manages them both. She manages them both. She manages both of them. So what does this mean? This has to do with the ability, understand this ability that I'm going to talk about is a skill. It is a developed skill. It's the ability, the developed skill to manage multiple personalities from a place of compassion and from a place of understanding. Okay? And when I say compassion and understanding, I don't mean, it doesn't mean be nice to everybody, right? Right? This does not mean for you to be a doormat. What this means is that there is a skill that needs to be developed, and it's the skill of being able to manage personalities and to be able to meet people where they are. And if I talk to you and I talk to both of you differently, but both of you feel my frequency, you feel my energy, and both of you feel that I am with you, that I understand you. And so there has to be a range. There has to be a range in the types of personalities that I am willing to encounter, that I am willing to engage with, that I am willing to understand, which calls for a removal of my own personal biases and my own personal prejudices, and a removal of this idea that I deal with people from my experience with that kind of person, right? So I can't deal with you based on my experience with that kind of person, because you may be from the same area and you may have some of the same circumstances and some of the same characteristics, but you're not that person. I have to be open. I have to be open, and I have to be more expansive. I have to be more expansive. I have to be more expansive. I have to be more expansive in my idea of who people are and of what they need, because everybody can be related to. It's a skill. It is a developed skill. And this goes from the janitor to the highest of management. This goes from the homeless person to the billionaire. Everybody can be related to, and it is possible for you to relate to each person in a way that makes them feel like you are with them personally, regardless of where they come from. But this is a developed skill. This is a developed skill. What does this mean? This means that this requires that you do a little bit of studying, that you do a little bit of, because in order to understand, you must study. In order to understand, you must study. In order to understand, you must study. So what you think you know about people, and what you think you know about situations, and what you think you know, none of that matters, right? None of that matters. None of that is important. It served you for where you were, but it's not serving you for where you are going. So for where you're going, you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to study. You will have to study to show yourself approved. But if you can develop that skill of managing personalities, of being fluid and allowing yourself to be soft and flexible enough, that's where you will find your strength. Okay? That is where you will find your strength. And that's all I have. That's all I have. So I hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful. Okay. So, you're welcome, beautiful. You're welcome. You're welcome, beautiful. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. All right, so anybody else hopping on? Just ask a general question. No, yes, no, left, right, no good, bad, right, or wrong. The answer from the universe is always yes. So if you ask me, should I take that job? The answer is yes. If you ask me, should I not take that job? The answer is yes, because whether you take it or not take it, you're going to end up where you're supposed to be anyways. Okay. Hey there, Joanne. Joanne says, may I have one too? Sure, why not? Why not? Since we're playing. Okay, so I'm being told to sage my cards again. Okay. I can do that. I can do that. I think that's why I was attracted to this fairy deck. Because I promise you, I swear, I think I'm a big child, like in an adult body. I mean, I'm not a Toys R Us kid, right? So I know I gotta grow up, but I have a lot of fun. My inner child comes out to play a whole lot. So I'm being told to sage my cards again, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Gonna do that again. Gonna do that again. Y'all see me? I'm just over here saging my cards. Okay. I'm getting a lot of 3s and 5s tonight. What is up? Here are a lot of 3s and 5s. Oh, man. Okay. So 5 cut 3. Okay. I got you. Sister Joanne, how are you tonight? Okay. All right, what we got? Ooh. Okay. The 9 of Autumn. The Nine of Autumn for Sister Joanne. Sister Joanne. So, I want you to look at the pretty lady, okay? You're going to look at the pretty lady. Look at her. Okay? I want you to look at her. Look at her. And if you see, she's surrounded by her harvest. So what do we have? We have some fruits and berries. That's what we're surrounded by. That's what we're surrounded by. And you see her. What is this right here? This is a heart. This is a heart. And so what I am hearing for you is that it's very important for you to celebrate what it is that you have. It's very important for you to celebrate what it is that you have. And see, it's not, okay. So it's not this, this ideology, right? Where this whole like, you know, you have to celebrate what you have. And it's not the same as celebrating what it is that you want in an attempt to try to get it. Right? Celebrating what you want in an attempt to try to get it while ignoring what it is that you already have. Because it doesn't work like that. 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 Because you have to celebrate what it is that you already have. Because it's right there with you. Okay? It's right there with you. You've already harvested it. It's in front of you. Now, here's the thing, right? It may not have been everything that you thought you were going to get. Okay. Just because you are not where you feel like you should be doesn't mean that you haven't made progress. And just because you have not achieved every single goal that you thought that you would achieve by now, it doesn't mean that you haven't done anything. The fact that you have not achieved everything that you thought that you would achieve by this point, it doesn't negate what you have already done. It doesn't do away with what you have already achieved. It's almost like saying, okay, my goal was to make $100,000, but I only made $75,000. So the $75,000 that I made doesn't even matter because I didn't make 100. No, you didn't make 100, but you still made 75. You still made 75. And being disappointed in what it is that you did not get, that you desire to have, is not going to make what you desire to have come any faster. And it's not going to make it come any easier. And it's not going to be any bigger or any better, right? Like beating yourself up because you didn't achieve the thing that you thought that you should have achieved by this point. It's not going to make it come. Because in doing that, you don't respect your process. and you don't respect what you have done. So if you don't respect what you have done, how can you expect to receive more when you don't respect what it is that you have done? And it's not really a matter of appreciation, right? It's not really a matter of appreciation. It's more of this like disappointment, like, man, like I wish I would have done this. I should have done this. And if I would have done this thing, I would be here. And if I would have done that thing, I would have already have been here. But you have to understand that even though it's not what you thought it was going to be, you've still made progress. You've still done things. You still have received things. There's still a harvest to be celebrated. 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 And if you look at what she has, I mean, if you look here, right, there's like 2 kinds of berries and like a tomato back here, like a little tomato back here. 2 bags of two different kinds of berries and a tomato right here, right? I'm pretty sure that that's not the only thing that she thought she was going to harvest. But that's what she got. And here's the thing, right? Celebrating what you currently have is not the same as settling for what you currently have. You can still desire more. You can still desire bigger. You can still desire better. You can still desire to do something differently the next time, right? So this idea that if I celebrate what it is that I have now, it means that I'm settling. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. Celebrating is not settling. It's not the same thing. 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 So that's what I have for you. That's what I have. That's what it says. Thank you. Here to let you look at her again. And that, are you talking about that? That's not a basket, that's a harp. It's a harp. Okay? That is what is there for you. That's what is there for you. So I hope that was helpful. So again, if you're just hopping on, you can ask a question. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about my children. Okay, so let me explain something to you all too about readings. Okay, when you request a tarot reading, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. When you request a tarot reading, or if you're sitting with an energy reader, or if you're sitting with, like, for example, if you're sitting with somebody who reads Akashic records, or you're sitting with somebody who reads energy, or you're sitting with somebody who does tarot, or you're sitting with somebody who does oracle, it's very important, okay, when you ask your question, that you open up yourself to receive, and you open up yourself to be seen. Okay? You open up yourself to be seen. You must open up yourself to be seen. Because here is the thing. Okay? What comes through from the divine is what comes through from the divine, but the thing about my energy, the energy that I work with, and the energy of the divine is that there's not going to be a forcing upon you, if that makes sense, right? There's not going to be a forcing open. It's not going to be a forcing open. I had a conversation with my son earlier today. We were talking about, you know, he says that he has this theory that the mind is the gateway between the physical body and the soul. Hey there, how are you? So he said, my son said that he believes that the mind is the gateway between the physical body and the soul. And he said the mind is like a door. He said it's like a portal, and you can decide how far you open it. He said, so if you open it only this much, right, then that's what it is that there's there to work with. So when you ask for a reading, okay, you ask for a reading, then you have to be willing to be seen. You have to be willing to be seen. You have to be willing to be seen. Because if you're not willing to be seen, then what's going to be read is whatever's around you. And the interesting thing about readings is that they may be for now. They may be for 2 years from now. They may have something to do with your past, right? But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to be seen. Okay? You have to be willing to be seen. And if you're not willing to be seen, then it doesn't make sense to ask for a reading. If that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you, throw up some hearts. I'm sure you've heard that before. If you've asked for readings before, I'm pretty sure somebody has said that, or if they haven't, I'm saying it now. So if that makes sense to you, throw up some hearts. Okay? So for those of you who are popping in the room who would like a card, you can ask a question. No, yes, no, left, right or wrong, good, bad. No, the answer from the universe is always yes. So whether you go left or right, you're always going to end up where you're going. So while I am waiting on the next question or the next person who desires to pull a card, I'm just going to continue talking about my children. Okay, so oh, okay. Joanne says, how do you open up? Okay. I mean, that's just very simple. That's just as simple as saying that, you know, I'm going to allow this person to see me. I'm going to allow this person to see my question, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, well, I'm going to allow this person to see me, but I'm laying naked here in my bed. This person is going to see me and I'm butt naked. No, like it's not that, right? Or it's not like, you know, I've got this crazy secret and this person is gonna see into my secret. Like no, like it's not anything like that. It's just allowing yourself to be open with regard to whatever your question is. Okay? And being open and just saying, you know what, I receive and I'm willing to receive that which is given to me. I'm willing to receive that which is given to me. I'm going to tell you a story that really quickly, and then I'll go back to my son while I'm waiting on the next question. I'm going to tell you a story. So I learned Tarot from Reverend Michaela Rena. Okay, so Reverend Michaela Rena, she's an ordained minister. She has been practicing Tarot for, I don't even know, like, I don't know, 40 something years. I think that she's been not even just practicing, but she has been studying because she has a Jegna as well. And her Jegna has, I think, like 50, 60 years in the study of the energy and the art and the history of Tarot. And so she, you know, I was talking to her about Tarot one time, and she was the one who told me about making sure that when I do readings that people are willing to be open and honest. And she told me about these girls that had come up to her, you know, once. I think she was at a table or something like that, and I think she was charging $20 for readings. And the girl had asked her a question, or the lady had asked her a question. And she went in to do the reading and she gave the answer. And the girl was like, you know, oh, well, you know, that's not right. That's not real. That don't have nothing to do with me. Well, it turns out when she, you know, Reverend Michaela Rena, she sat with herself and then she, you know, listening to spirit, and she said, oh, you lied to me. You lied to me. And so really it was one of those situations where it was just like, I'm just going to see, you know, if this chick is real, blah, 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 you know, and really, you know, she lied, but what she read was the energy around what it was that she was doing, right? So it did apply to her, and you know, that's a whole other story. Hey, Annalisa. She says, what are the signs of someone not being truthful with you? Well, that is sort of it's a little bit of a loaded question. Why? Because it depends on the context of the relationship, right? I'll give you an example. I know when my children are not being truthful. Okay. I know when the siblings, the ones who are closest to me, I know when they are not being truthful because they have certain mannerisms and there's just changes in their energy. And because I have that relationship with them, I can pick up on that. Now, if it's with somebody that you don't know, okay, this is where, so thank you for asking this question because we get to have this discussion again. If it's with somebody that you don't know, this is where your intuition becomes important. But here is the challenge. Here is the challenge. A lot of times we get our paranoia confused with our intuition. We get our paranoia confused with our intuition. And so the real way to answer that question, Annalisa, is how well do you know yourself? How well do you know yourself? How deeply do you know yourself? How deeply are you connected with the most divine parts of yourself? Because that's going to determine the level and the potency of your intuition. And when you begin to see how deeply connected you are with yourself, then you'll be able to look at people and look at situations through the eyes of your intuition, and then you will know. You will know whether or not that person is lying to you. You know, a lot of these questions don't have black and white answers, right? Like there's not always a system of steps. And you know, trust me, I come from a scientific background. My bachelor's degree is in biological and physical sciences. I am trained as a scientific researcher. I have published research and years of research experience and all kinds of things. And so in that world, we're taught to rely on stepwise processes, right? If you're conducting an experiment, okay, you're going to follow the experiment based on this stepwise process. If you want to make a certain reaction happen, then you follow this stepwise process, and that's how you make the reaction happen, right? But that is not how it works when it comes to intuitively knowing what is going on with the people in your surroundings. That's not how it works. Okay. There's no stepwise process. And I mean, if you go into psychology, sure, right? Like they can tell you, oh, well, if the person looks this way and the person looks that way and the person looks this way. But the other part that you have to see, that you have to read between the lines when you're reading that research is that a lot of times those studies, the population that they do those studies on is not indicative of the general population, right? And if you say that people who look to the left are liars, then, I mean, the people who look to the left could be liars. Or it could be a situation that the person who looks to the left, like, this is where I look, right? Because, you know, maybe I used to have a puppy that I talked to all the time, and the puppy was always on my left-hand side. So whenever I am about to answer a question and I want to feel more comfortable and I feel like I want to get deeply within myself, I'll look down to the left because it reminds me of my puppy being there. Like, there's a lot of reasons why people may do some of the physical things that are associated with lying. But ultimately, if you want to determine whether or not a person is being truthful with you, then the question becomes, how well do you know yourself? Question becomes, how well do you know yourself? Okay? So, hopefully that was helpful. All right, so I don't think I missed any questions. So I really want to get to the story about what my son said. But if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and pop them in there. In the meantime, I'll keep talking about my son. So left off talking about how important it is to be cognizant of the people that you surround yourself with, right? Because the two of the biggest factors of the trajectory of your life are the decisions that you make and the people that you choose to surround yourself with. Right? The decisions that you make and the people that you choose to surround yourself with, and that it's important because a lot of the decisions that we made, Tina Brooke. Okay. Are you still here, Tina? If you're still here, hop in and say, I'm still here. Let me see you. Or Tina Brooke. If you're still here, hop in and let me know that you're here, and then I'll give you one. Okay. And I said, because a lot of the decisions that we make are informed upon by the relationships that we have with the people that we surround ourselves with the most, right? That's what I said. Okay. So my son and I were talking about words. And he asked me a question. He said, Mom, do you think I can be kind of stubborn sometimes? I think I can be kind of stubborn sometimes. I said, well, what do you mean, son? Okay, Tina, if you are still here, hop in and let me know that you're still here. If you'd like a card. Asura, do you have a question? Do you have a question for your card? I want to make sure before I just pull a card if you have a question. Because if you have a question, I want to make sure that we speak to that. Okay? All right, so he says, Mommy, Mama, you think I'm stubborn? I think I can be kind of stubborn. I said, okay. What makes you think that you are stubborn, son? He says, well, if you look at the colleges that I'm going to be applying to, I absolutely refuse. All of the colleges that I'm applying to, they're difficult to get in. They have lower percentages of acceptance rates, and they're all top tier. And I'm just not willing to apply to anything beneath that. I said, well, son, that's not stubborn. Or let me say this. Like, this is how the conversation went. I said, son, that's not stubborn. Or let me say this. Okay? So stubborn and persistence are practically the same thing. And stubborn, a lot of times, is the word that people will use towards persistent people because they don't like their persistence. Okay, no question. Okay. General. All right. Okay. All right. Sister Asura. There, Asura. 6 of winter. I want you to see. 6 of winter. Okay. Sister Asura. Sister Asura. What I am hearing is that for you, the most important movement and the most important work is the movement and work that is done when nobody else is looking. If you look at this card, okay, it's nighttime and she's traveling at night, right? But here's the thing. Watch this. You see this? If you're not careful, it looks like the light is coming from everywhere else. But if you pay very close attention to this card, you will see that the light is actually coming from her own supplies. And she's moving. There's nobody else around. She's moving and she's working in the dark, in the nighttime, where nobody else can see. Where nobody else can see. And what does this mean? Nobody else can see this. Nobody else can give her credit. Nobody else can give her props because nobody else sees what she's doing. Nobody else sees where she's moving. Nobody else can see what she's doing. But she's moving, and she's moving at night, and she's working at night. And everything that she has to make her own light is already with her. The potency of who you are and what you do is going to be based on the work that you do when nobody else is looking. It's going to be based on the work that you do when nobody else is looking. It's going to be based on the work that you do when nobody else is looking. And what I'm hearing is that you understand what I mean. You know what that's about, right? Because what happens is if the alone time work is not being done, if the alone time work is not being done, then what it is that you desire as the outcome in what people see is not going to come through in the way that you want it to come through. It's not going to come through in the way that you want it to come through, right? So the surgeon is really, really good at being the surgeon, okay? She's really, really good at the work that she does, okay? But the reason why she's really, really good at the work that she does is because of the amount of practice that she has put into this thing when nobody else was looking, when she didn't have the eyes on her. The actress is only a good actress not because she's on stage. The actress is a good actress because of the work that she does when all of the lights are out in the theater and there's nobody else to clap for her. There's nobody there to praise her. There's nobody there to give her flowers. There's nobody there to tell her how awesome she is, right? It's the work that she does when she is sitting alone with herself. And the more time you spend in the work that you do alone, the more time you spend in that space, then the more potent the outcome becomes for what it is that you want people to see you when you are in the light. What you want people to see in you when you are in the light. And that's it. That's what it is. You got to do the work, sis. You got to do the work. You have to do the work. There's no way around, right? There's no way around it. 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 You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. So, yeah, that's what it is. Hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful. Oh, okay. So, okay. All right. So I'm being told that was the last one. That's the last one for tonight. However, it's important. Here's the thing about readings, right? When they're done in this kind of a group setting, people may receive an individual card because they have an individual question about a particular thing that, the interesting thing about readings, here's the interesting thing about readings, right, is that a lot of times it tells you what it is that you already know, right? Tarot is really just a tool. It's not a deity, right? It's just a tool. It's just a very special tool. A lot of times, what tarot will do is tarot will give you the answer that you already knew was there, right? You already knew the answer. You already knew the answer. And when we do readings in this kind of a group setting, even though you may not have received an individual reading for yourself, the mere fact that you were here or that you were watching this, you're welcome. You're welcome. It speaks to the fact that there was something here for you. Speaks to the fact that there was something here for you. And that in all of the readings that you hear, there was something there for you in one or all of them. Something there for you in one or all of them. Okay? Something there for you in one or all of them, right? Okay. So before I leave, I do want to finish up the story about my son because it's really, really cool. So we go back to Mama and my stubborn, right? Have this whole conversation. And he tells me about his schools. And I say, son, stubborn a lot of times is a word that people use, that they try to throw out at persistent people because they can't deal with the level of persistence that they have. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, tell me about the people who told you were stubborn. He said, well, Mom, when I was in this program, and I told one of them that I wanted to go to this school. They were like, oh, really, that school? No, I don't think you should do that. And I was like, no, that's the school that I want to go to. That's the college that I want to apply to. No, I don't, I wanted to go there too. Yeah, and I didn't get in. You probably shouldn't even shoot for that. Why don't you apply here? Why don't you apply here? Why don't you apply here? And my son wants to be an engineer. And he said somebody was talking to him. He was like, you know what? I used to want to be an engineer, and now I'm an accountant. I said, son, can I tell you something? He said, what? I said, when somebody tells you something, right? And they tell you that you can't do something, or maybe that you shouldn't do something, it's not that you can't do it. It's that they can't do it. They couldn't do it, right? So you wanted to go to this particular school and you didn't get in. So because you didn't get in, you feel like I shouldn't apply because you didn't get in. So that means that I won't get in. Okay, so you used to want to be an engineer and now you're an accountant, right? And the thing was, the reason why you were an accountant instead of an engineer is because you didn't think that you could handle being an engineer. Like, you didn't think that you could do it. You probably made a bad grade, or you didn't do well in a class, or maybe you didn't get into a program. And so you settled for being an accountant. And so because you couldn't become an engineer, you're going to attempt to juxtapose that, right, your insecurity upon me and say, well, maybe I shouldn't be an engineer, when the fact of the matter is you're really upset at yourself. And so, and I said, so when they tell you, son, oh man, you just being stubborn. I'm trying to tell you to apply to this school and this school and this school, and you're saying da, 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 da. I said, son, that's not being stubborn. That's called having standards. You have standards. You have a standard of where you want to be educated, right? And because you know what you bring to the table, you have a standard for the university that you are going to put your application in front of, right? You have a set of standards. You say, I want to be an engineer and I want to study this kinds of engineering. And in order for me to do what it is that I want to do, you as a university have to have access to certain things. And if you don't have access to those things, I'm not interested in your school because it doesn't help further my cause. I said, son, that's not being stubborn. That's being persistent. That's having standards. You know what my son said to me? He said, wow, Mom, you just broke the spell. I said, what? He said, yeah, Mom, you just broke the spell. I said, what? You know, help me. He said, Mama, he said, I was under this spell because somebody told me, because these people told me that I was being stubborn, because they didn't respect my persistence and they didn't respect the fact that I had standards. He said, so I had been told that years ago. He said, I had been told that years ago. And so I was under this spell that says, you're stubborn, you're stubborn, you're stubborn, you're stubborn. He said, so Mama, when you just said that, he said, and now I see it differently and now I understand it. He was like, words are spells. He was like, that was a spell. He said, when you say something to somebody and then they believe it and then they play it over and over and over and over. He said, now granted, he said, I have to take responsibility for that. He said, because I allowed that to come in. He said, I allowed that to inform upon my reality. He said, but I heard the word and I heard that sentence and I let it play over and over and over again. So every time I thought about applying to this particular school, I was like, man, I'm just being stubborn. When I looked at the list of schools that I wanted to go to and they were all, high caliber, limited entry kind of schools, I kept saying, man, I was stubborn. But now I know, Mama, that I'm persistent and that I have standards. And he said, that's why words are so important. I said, man, whose child is this? So that's why I say the two of the absolute most important factors that will determine the trajectory of your life are the decisions that you make and the people that you surround yourself with, because the people that you surround yourself with are the people that are going to be allowed to speak into you. And even though we all make our own decisions, yes, we all make our own decisions. We are all autonomous beings and we are all responsible for all of the decisions that we make. And at the same time, we must understand that the people that we surround ourselves with speak into us at a certain frequency. And that frequency can inform upon the decisions that we make. So anyway, I just wanted to tell that story. So yep. All right, so I am being told that is it. And I have had fun tonight. Folks falling asleep. I have had fun tonight. So I am going to hop off. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. I love you all. Love you all. And I really do appreciate your time and your attention. Okay, I never ever take your time and your attention for granted. And I just want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you. So good night, everybody. I am out of here. I love you so much. And I wish you all of the joy and passion and pleasure and ease and flow and all of the good stuff that you can accept into your own life. Thank you so much. I love you, and bye-bye.